Cd26 Life Coaching with Destiny. The Sacred Counsel, 26 out of 32. The Guiding Force of Destiny. Destiny, the guiding force of cause and effect. Accept the realities you have created yourself. I am the Divana Destiny, one of the 17 balancing forces of universe and nature, representing the fact that every action will not have only one reaction, but an entire chain reaction regarding everything in Crystallia, the creation. Quote, "For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap." Galatians 6:7. End of quote. I play a very important part in Crystallia and in the adventure of your life. You know me very well, because the reality you live in today, how you're experiencing yourself, others in the world, is the sum total of all actions and reactions of your past. You may like or dislike this reality, but you are the creator of it. Quote, "We ourselves are the architect of our faith." Maharaj Sawan Singh. End of quote. Most of you will not even accept this fact, but rather point out with the index finger and blame others for the reality you are living in at this moment in time. Quote, "So I tried not to spend my time asking, why did this happen to me, but trying to figure out why I had chosen this." Oprah. End of quote. Some of you will talk about genetic inheritance, others about karma, but the fact is that all of you start with a package, or backpack, so to speak. But when you do not accept that either you or the Creator wrote it, you stay victims in your book of life, lived out on the stage in the theater of life. Quote, "Every man is the son of his own works." Miguel de Cervantes. End of quote. Look at your body, which is the result of a genetic package you have chosen, and then your body formed or deformed itself through life as a result of all your thoughts, foods, actions, and conditions. This is the same in all areas of your life. The cause of any action into the world starts, however, with a thought. Quote, "Our life always expresses the result of our dominant thoughts." Soren Kierkegaard. End of quote. One thought affects everything without you even realizing it. Imagine everything in the universe, every particle in creation, every cell and molecule as individual marbles sitting in a box. This box is called Crystallia, the creation. Push one marble and see that each action has an effect on all other marbles in the box. Quote, "Life is an immensely complicated affair. Every effect is the result of so many causes. And likewise, every cause has so many effects, which differ in intensity according to prevailing conditions." Maharaj Sawan Singh. End of quote. The box, which is creation, is a reality connected to your mind. And in the realm of mind and matter, good and bad actions result in good and bad reactions, but all of them keep you trapped in the box. You can create as much comfort in the box as you want, but you're still in the box. Quote, "Good actions are as much binding as bad actions. Good actions may be likened to feathers of gold, and bad actions to those of iron. And both are equally efficient in keeping us tight." Lord Krishna. End of quote. You play power games within the box, from trying to rule with power over others within your family, at the job, in sports, community, and country. All actions and reactions are connected to the one you see in the mirror and who has been given a name. Yes, your life is mostly just connected to your ego, which is your mind, and this is the reality you live in. You try to conquer within the box, but should conquer your ego. Quote, "The strongest warrior is he who conquers himself." Aztec saying. End of quote. You talk about freedom, but see how much you are bound to life in the box. Your body has needs, the world around you, from the economy to the weather, all have an influence on your being. All your reaction and actions are the effect of previous actions and reactions. Everything affects everything. The way you think, eat, and do are all about the reality within the box. Quote, "Do you call yourself free? I want to hear your ruling idea, and not that you have escaped from a joke. Free from what? Zarathustra does not care about that. But your eye should clearly tell me, free for what?" Friedrich Nietzsche. End of quote. You forget that you are a soul, a particle of the eternal ocean of Kandu, and you only connect with the body, mind and matter, all part of the life just inside the box. You are unconscious, separated from your true essence, and try to reduce the suffering of your soul by finding comfort in the box. The life actions and reactions continues no matter what inside the box, but you can reunite with your true self and learning to be in the world but not becoming of it. At the moment you are in silent prayer and meditation, you will become the observer of your life in the box. You will react and act differently, and you will deal better with everything and will interfere less. The freedom you seek is something outside the box. This is reuniting and getting attached to Kandu, and that will detach you from the box. Quote, "Only attachment can create detachment. Detachment never creates attachment in anybody." Huzur Marwaj Charan Singh Ji. End of quote. Think about this. Every thought and action inside the creation is making a deal and contract with Kalimabanko, who is in charge of keeping you distracted, attached, and attracted to the creation. This is your own mind. Destiny. Knowing me and knowing what to do with me. Let's see how you unnecessarily struggle with my force in various aspects of your life. How you could change your perspective and even make some practical changes. There are endless words that can be connected to any subject, and each subject can have many books, because each subject can be approached from various perspectives or angles. Most important is not to forget that all that is said or written is merely an opinion, a truth, and not the truth, because the spoken and written word is part of the creative world, created in opposites, constantly changing and bound to time, and there is always more that can be said or written about any subject. Regarding me and the Sacred Council members, talking about any subject, know that this understanding applies to that information as well. The information is from our particular point of view and brought to you through the world of visionary and mystical fiction. Hopefully, it contributes to your life and assists you to experience life in a more conscious, mystical, and magical way. By hearing or reading this information, you will come to the conclusion that you know this already, and you do, because this is part of your universal and spiritual inheritance. And often, we just need one word or sentence that inspires and motivates us to do things differently, or to think about a certain subject from a different perspective. Dealing with your real self, the soul. In regards to spiritual living, know that you have created and are still creating the reality you have to live in yourself. In the world of mind and matter, every action has not only one reaction, but also a chain reaction. So be careful with what you think, say, and do. What goes around will come around. Some of you will talk about genetic inheritance, others about karma, but the fact is that you all come with a package. But when you do not accept that either you or the Creator wrote it, you just stay victims in your own book of life. Quote, "We ourselves are the architect of our faith." Maharaj Sawan Singh. End of quote. Realize that as long as you want things in and from creation, that you are planting seeds in creation. Only through silent prayer and meditation you can escape this law and planting seeds in heaven. Dealing with your mind. In regards to managing and dealing with the mind, know that the reality you live in today, how you experience yourself, others, and the world is the sum total of all actions and reactions of your past. Most of you will not even accept this fact and rather point out with the index finger and blame others for the reality you are living in at this very moment in time. You may like or dislike the reality, but you are the creators of it. Every thought and action inside the creation is making a deal and contract with the mind, who is in charge of keeping you distracted, attached, and attracted to the creation. Quote, "To do nothing at all is the most difficult thing in the world, the most difficult and the most intellectual." Oscar Wilde. End of quote. Dealing with your body. In regards to dealing with your physical body, know that the body you have today is the sum total of all actions in your past and a reality you have to deal with right now. Accept it, and from this moment on think about all your new actions that will create your future reality, which you have to deal with at that moment in time. Your body is part of the creation, in which every action has a reaction and chain reaction. And it is through these actions that you create your own reality you have to deal with. When you want to experience a different reality, you must perform differently and possibly better actions. Certain things regarding your body you will not be able to change, but there are things you have great influence on. Quote, "All that we are is the result of what we have thought." Buddha. End of quote. Dealing with communication. In regards to communication, know that you create a reality you have to live in yourself. Know that every action has not only one reaction, but also a chain reaction, so be careful with your words. Words are like pictures that you insert in the book of life for the future. Let's accept all the conversations you now have as a result of your past and make the best out of them. Maybe it is better to say less or nothing at all and listen more, but not doing anything with the information. Quote, "If speaking is silver, then listening is gold." Turkish proverb. End of quote. Dealing with food. In regards to dealing with nutrition, realize that every thought connected to food and the consuming of every food item are actions that will give you health, vitality, and prosperity, or the opposite. What you eat, you will become. Each food item and each meal creates a reaction and chain reaction in the chemistry of your body, affecting you physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and this in return affects you in your food choices. In order to become sensitive to find out how each food item affects you, you have to clean the body and to do some fasting, as everything is so conditioned, and for that reason cannot give you an honest and clear feeling. It is the same when your body has cravings. Know that you cannot trust them, because you are so programmed and conditioned. However, it would be a great adventure to experience what each food item does to your body on all levels, don't you think so? The cells of your body are the new building blocks and energy for the making of new cells. So when your cells are not healthy, You are building new cells without real health and energy, and the result is an unhealthy and malnourished body that shows many signs because of this. So choose the best and fresh produce you can, and consume foods for keeping your body healthy and vital. Choose places when you eat out that also have your health in mind. Consume foods that inflict the least amount of pain and suffering to your fellow creatures and creations. Do not try to find any justification, for there is plenty of other foods. Quote, a vegetarian diet is necessary to minimize the consequences resulting from the violence and cruelty of killing for food. Unless the burden we bear as the consequence of doing such actions is kept to a minimum, we cannot hope to rise spiritually. Hector Esponda Dubin. End of quote. Dealing with staying fit. In regards to fitness, are you taking gentle and fun actions in order to keep your body healthy and fit? The physical body needs physical actions to stay healthy and vital, but watch out for the reason and intensity of your workouts, because what you sow, you must reap. Every action will not just have one reaction but a chain reaction, resulting in the reality you have to live in and deal with. Take care of your body from a higher perspective, as the body shelters your soul. Keep it in the best shape possible in order to continue or to start your spiritual work. Quote, the individual thinks he is the doer and thereby becomes responsible for his actions and their consequences. Maharaj Sawan Singh. End of quote. Dealing with your life partner. In regards to your relationships, know that every action which takes place on the level of your thoughts, with what you say, eat and do, act and react, will have a reaction and chain reaction. The sum of all these actions and reactions creates the reality you will have to live in and deal with. Many realities you have also brought with you into this life, for they are stored in your genetic makeup, as they are the actions and reactions of your parents and all your forefathers. And for those who accept the reality of past lives, it is also clear that you all came with a package. Learn to deal with the package and reality you have now, and watch out for creating new ones, which you also will have to deal with. Quote, life is a perpetual instruction in cause and effect. Ralph Waldo Emerson. End of quote. Dealing with your children. In regards to parenting, are you pushing and manipulating your children into your reality? Be careful as a parent what you say, feed and show your children by your example, for it will be the reality they will have to live in the future. The gentler, honest, loving, understanding, guiding, assisting and caring you are going to be, the more they will live out that same reality in their life, and then later their children as well. Get rid of all your fears of how everything should be, and do not work with instilling fear in your children. Quote, a child understands fear and the hurt and hate it brings. Epictetus. End of quote. Give your children a chance to create their own life and future, and you are just there to feed, assist, and guide them so they can do this. Quote, children brought up naturally and in freedom not only have imagination, but live in a world of imagination more real to them than our reality. Julian Hawthorne. End of quote. Make them, however, aware of the fact that every action has not only one reaction but chain reaction, and creating the reality of the future one has to live in and deal with. Dealing with preserving the planet. In regards to taking care of the planet Earth, realize that mankind is paying a big price for its actions of destroying nature. Nature is like a sick child seeking for attention and help. You just need to stop the destruction and start a rebuilding. You affect nature, and nature in return affects you. You have a relationship with everything and everybody, and each action of any one of you will affect everything and everybody. So all what you are facing now is a reaction of your actions in the past. Be aware of your actions to either make things worse or better. Think about anything you do, eat, or buy, how it affects the entire world. Quote, "Yet much will depend on what steps are taken during these next years and what kind of awareness, both collective and individual, is brought to bear on the challenges now facing the human community." Richard Tarnas. End of quote. Dealing with the teenage years. In regards to the teenage years, stop the fight and rebellion. Realize that your rebellion will become a reality later in your life, which you will have to deal with. Maybe you continue rebelling, have people or even your children rebelling against you. Realize how you would like to be treated. It takes courage to change your way of thinking and acting, and this counts for both parties. But realize that the old ways are not working, so why not trying something different? Quote, "Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it shall return upon him." Proverb 26:27. End of quote. Dealing with getting older. In regards to dealing with getting older, are you accepting the realities you have to face? It is not easy to accept that you are the creators of your own realities, but not accepting it will bring you into the role of a victim. But it is never too late to start a more positive and healthy one. Every action has a reaction and a chain reaction, and creating the realities you live in. As you mature, keep in mind the reality of life that you have to leave this body behind. Enjoy life on earth, but at the same time make your way back home. Quote, "It is a wholesome and necessary thing for us to turn again to the earth, and in the contemplation of her beauties to know of wonder and humility." Rachel Carson. End of quote. Dealing with stress. In regards to dealing with stress, are you aware that negative stress has a negative effect on your entire mechanism and on all levels, physical, mentally, and emotional? Stress is not just related to work, but you create negative stress through negative thoughts, unhealthy foods, negative words, and negative actions, in addition to going too fast, trying to do too much, and complicating things. Slowing down and positive actions in all aspects of your life will give a different and more positive reaction. Quote, "The world is so constructed that if you wish to enjoy its pleasures, you must also endure its pains. Whether you like it or not, you cannot have one without the other." Swami Brahmananda. End of quote. Dealing with weight. In regards to dealing with weight, are you realizing that the accumulated weight you have is not a reaction from one thing in the past, not just food, depression, or an incident? Realizing the fact is the key to turn things around and start new positive actions in all aspects of life and clean on all levels. Quote, "The possibilities are numerous once we decide to act and not react." George Bernard Shaw. End of quote. Dealing with disease. In regards to dealing with disease, do you believe in limited solutions for curing diseases? Then that will be your reality. Any disease is a reaction from many actions in the past, and there are endless ways to assist the healing process. It is just stepping into that reality and going the adventure. Another approach is to see any disease as a message that needs to be accepted, translated, and given a plan of action. Quote, "No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it." Albert Einstein. End of quote. Dealing with emotions. In regards to dealing with emotions, are you realizing that emotions are experiences from the level of your mind and not from the level of your soul? Realize that each emotion is just an experience from the reality of the mind, and to not react to them in a negative or positive way, which creates a chain reaction. When, however, you connect them to people, places, and events, it makes it worse, for you create additional reactions because they are now linked to people, places, and events. By doing this, you create a very complex web and trap, often for a lifetime. Quote, "How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it." Marcus Aurelius. End of quote. Dealing with business. In regards to dealing with your professional life, are you being busy just for the gain of power and money? Mankind thinks he is so smart in trying to cheat and produce cheap products with the intention that they break down sooner than later, but doesn't realize the price he is paying for his actions, which can be in any aspect of his life. Leading a stressful life and busy to destroy the such-called competition is a distorted reality, linked to the reaping of lots of negative reactions. Ease up. Produce quality products. Treat the staff with a certain respect. Stop living in fear and realize that you will only reap what is already sown in the past, not one penny less or more. Quote, "It is critical that we understand that the society of people, our economy, and our technological environment is our own creation, man-made." Peter Amato. End of quote. Dealing with destructive habits. In regards to dealing with destructive habits and addictions, know that they are all a reaction of actions that took place in the past and actions you are still into, causing these reactions to happen. The reality you have created is created by yourself, and when you think that someone else had a saying in this, it will make you into a victim. Only when you take full responsibility for everything that happened and happens in your life, you have a start and a chance to change things around. Quote, "Be miserable or motivate yourself. Whatever has to be done, it is always your choice." Wayne Dyer. End of quote. Dealing with studying. In regards to studying, realize that the motive of your studying and the way you study will play a major part in your future profession and business. When you just study for the diploma or later work just for the money, you will be a slave of it. The realities you all live in are organized by yourself. Study for the sake of learning, just like you later can contribute with your skill and profession wherever you can. Quote, "I think the person who takes a job in order to live, that is to say for the money, has turned himself into a slave." Joseph Campbell. End of quote. You do not need to feel proud when you have achieved something that was already inside of you. You also do not need to feel deprived of not being able to study something or entering a specific school, for what is there for you will come to you, although you may have to put some effort in to see what is for you, but do it without any expectations. Dealing with friendships. In regards to friendships, know that in your dealing with your friends that you treat them as you would want to be treated. The kind of friends you have give you a pretty good indication about yourself. When you are completely okay with them, you are okay with yourself, which is the reaction of all actions in the past. When you are not completely satisfied and struggle with various friends, it is maybe wise to start acting more positive towards yourself and towards your friends. Every positive action towards yourself or them will result in a more positive reality. Quote, "Your life is the fruit of your own doing. You have no one to blame but yourself." Joseph Campbell. End of quote. Summary: Destiny. Destiny, the guiding force of cause and effect. Most of you live like victims, living a reactive life, complaining about everything, pointing and blaming others for your personal situations and the circumstances in the world. I am Destiny, in charge of the balancing force of cause and effect, and reminding you that every action will not just have one reaction but a chain reaction, and that what goes around must come around. I let you know that you are the creators of your own realities. There is a reaction to everything, even though it might not be instantly, but somewhere in the future. By reminding you of these facts, you will hopefully start acting differently and not reacting in shock. Summary. Everything in creation is subject to action, resulting in a reaction continued as a chain reaction. Everything affects everything. You create the realities you are living in. Whatever you think, awake or asleep, has consequences and obligations. Whatever you are inherited or brought with you into this life, followed by all actions during your life, determines the reality you will live in. You are the result and product of the past with all its conditionings, who are oftentimes not easy to reprogram, but you always have the power to change your perspective. Think, talk, do, act and react in such a way to create more positive reactions. In order to stay aware that every action will have a reaction and chain reaction, prepare yourself for the day of how you are going to approach life, others and situations. And at the end of the day, write down your changes, how you handle things differently by having been exposed to the information about destiny. Affirmation. I accept that every action in creation will have a reaction and chain reaction. Whatever seeds I plant become the crop I will have to harvest. Whatever I believe becomes the reality I have to live in. Petrus.